Hello, everyone. I'm Esperanza, and this is Art from the Heart at St. Augustine's Church. And we are still doing the session remotely due to the COVID-19 lockdown. Um, Today, we are going to apply what we've learned about reagents, and our subject is this lovely strawberry. Yes, we painted the strawberry in class previously, and now we are now going to do it for this session online. And this is very easy, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. But before we start painting, I want to show you some interesting facts about uh, what comprises this this particular strawberry. Okay. I'm not going to go into the details of seeds and the flesh and all of that. However, I am going to go and look at the shape. So as you can see here, I drew some lattice, a lattice here. Wherein I have an intersection of the green line and the orange line. And in each intersection, there's a seed. And that's actually how this is. So, so this is one line, another line, and another line. And here, it intersects with this other direction. And that's how it actually is. And that's how we will do this art piece. We will be mindful of all those intersections, which would correspond to the scenes. Now, the next interesting part of this would be the lighting. So, for the lighting, these areas would actually have the most reflection of light, assuming that the light source is coming from this area, like so. So it hits the strawberry and reflects the light here, 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 and here. Now, when we paint this, we don't necessarily have to paint the shape of the light areas like this, but these areas have to be lighter to show that reflection of light. So here, on the art piece that was painted, we also have this area, which is slightly darker, which is actually shadow. So if we have light coming in from here, there's a shadow at the bottom, aside from the shadow on the ground or on wherever it is on. Okay, so let's start with this art piece, and we will start with the drawing. So the first thing would be, the first thing would be to draw the shape of the strawberry. So that's the shape. It's like a triangle, but the corners or the intersections are curved. So I'm going to try and do that. Your drawing doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Remember, strawberries come in different shapes and sizes, and of course, sometimes different colors as well. Sometimes some of them are more orange than red, or some are even more green. The raw ones are a little bit more green than others. So for this one, again, that's the first thing we have to do. And I will then paint the sepal. I will then sketch the sepal over here. Okay. So for this sepal, I will start with the one in the middle because I find it to be the most dominant. So like so. And then followed by those on this side. And then now the ones on the other side. Wow, it's looking good. Now this we will do this little stalk over here as well. So lovely. We now have the shape of our strawberry. Now let's go to the details. Let's go back to that lattice I was talking about. with the seeds. So we are going to create this lattice, but I'm only going to do that by drawing dots representing the seeds. So for the seeds, I will start, let's start here. So I'm going to draw one here, another one here, another one here, another one there. And then I am just going to continue. Okay. And as you can see, it curves that way. And then here, I have another one. Like so. And then here, another one. Another row of seeds. And then we just continue with that. Mhm. Lovely. So again, we continue with that. Still, we continue with that. Fantastic. So we've done that side. And now we're going to do this side. Let's do it the other way so that you can see what I've been saying much clearly. So we've done lines going that way. Now let's do lines going this way. So we're just following this line. And then here. Again, we just follow the lines. Lovely. Okay, so we've done the so-called lattice I'm referring to. And what we've done is to just put some dots on the intersection, which would represent the seeds of our strawberry. Now, things become more interesting because now we are going to talk about the source of light. So here, again, if the source of light is coming from this area, and that would be lighter. And to depict that, using what we have learned in gradients, I first need to paint those areas with water. So based on this, I'm painting that area. So this one, and yeah, a little bit here, like so. Yes, and when we paint it, make sure it's not too wet, but it should be moist enough to allow the paint to flow into it smoothly. So we are in effect creating that gradient. Okay. So we start from here, and again, we just let the paint spread through or into the water like that, very natural. And then same thing in this area. Okay. And then we can paint the rest of the strawberry with red. Okay. Please do make sure that we paint it fast enough so that we don't have those unnecessary lines. Yes, unnecessary lines that are created when the watercolor has dried and stains the paper. Okay. Dear. So bear with me. I have just painted red on my well with yellow ochre, so I need to lift that. Do bear with me. There we go. And yes, because of that, I have also created some drops here on the paper, which I am going to lift with the kitchen towel. And now I'm going to rinse my brush, make sure it's clean. And of course, get another kitchen towel to make sure that that I have a clean one. Okay, and here I see a straight line, so I am going to try and make that transition into a softer color. So that's through gradients again. So we have a gradient of colors. Well, actually one color with a gradient in its intensity. So here I think I've put too much paint, so I'm just going to lift the paint. So here, let's see how it is. Yeah, this is soft enough. Good transition, good transition. Okay, I'm happy with my strawberry. Now what's the next thing to do? Yes, the next thing to do is to paint red on the strawberry. Yes, I know we painted it red, but what I mean is to paint red around the seed. So we are going to do that one by one. Okay. And if the paint spreads, that's fine. Okay, maybe not too much spread. That seems to be a bit too much. So maybe this is still too wet. So we're going to let the strawberry dry a little. So while doing that, we're going to make a start on the sepal and on the stalk. So we'll do this. We'll work on the sepal first, and that would be by painting it with water, like so. Okay, so I painted that with water, and next is to paint it with yellow ochre halfway. So here from the base, I'm painting it with yellow ochre. Let me get some more yellow ochre to help us, to make it easy for us to paint it. So here, okay, so just painting it with yellow ochre. And as I mentioned, halfway. We paint it halfway. Again here, halfway. Halfway here. And we are still just letting this area dry before we put any of the details. Now, the next color we need would be green. I'm going to use sap green, but if you don't have sap green, use any green color with dark color. Use any dark green color, or if you don't have green, just mix yellow and blue, and create a green shade that you would like. Okay, so now I will start here where it's a roughly a smaller space. And then when I paint it, I just let the paint mix. I'm just going to do something similar here. So again, let the paint mix by itself. Let the colors split into each other. And later on, if we need to help the mix, we can do that as well. But for now, we just let them spread by themselves. Okay, we continue until we've done all the sepals. And yes, this area is still drying. Okay, fantastic. And yes, I did leave a white area for this one. And for this one, I am going to lift some of the paint. Like so. Okay, here I'm just going to lift it because I don't want the puddle. Here I want to lift it because I want to create the illusion of dimension. And here, yes, the illusion of dimension. And there we go. Again, lifting the paint. And then I am going to drop a little bit of red paint in some areas of the sleeve. Of the sepal. So here a little bit of red. And just let it bleed in to the color that's already there. And again, we might need to lift some of the colors later on to suit our needs. Okay, I need to turn it around for now. Okay, so you can see there's a drop there of paint, and I'm just lifting that. Okay, so now I have to make sure my brush is wet but not dripping. Okay. And I'm going to mix the paint in those areas I think that needs more mixing, and lift paint in areas which I think have too much paint. Okay, fantastic. I am very happy with what I have here. There's a little bit excess paint here, so I need to clean that before we continue here. And I will clean that by using this kitchen towel. Just tapping that right there, and it's clean. Now I need to create that solid line there again. One moment, let me just add some paint. Okay, fantastic. That is lovely. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the stem, this little twig over here. Okay, maybe I shouldn't. Perhaps we should let this leaf dry first before I disturb it again. Let's go back to the strawberry itself. Okay, for the strawberry, we need some more red paint. So let me just get some red paint. And we're just going to paint around the seeds. So around the seeds, let me start here so you can see, like so, around the seeds. And then we're just going to do that for all the seeds. And again, we're just following the same lattice that we have painted earlier. So we just paint this. And they have to be, we have to be consistent with the direction, of course. So if it's going this way, we don't paint towards the other direction. It still goes towards this way. So we just continue doing that. Like so. We're doing very well. So now we just turn it around and we'll work on the other side of the strawberry, which is this side. So we start here on the left side, and we start on the left side when um it's okay. The reason why we start on the left side is because I'm right-handed, and it's just to avoid smudging the paint. But other than that, you can actually start on the right side or on the top part. So it depends on you. But for me, it's just more convenient because it prevents me from smudging the paint and ruining the whole art piece. Okay, let's. So there we go. We're almost done. Wow, beautiful. So that's lovely. Now I just need to soften um, the edges of those in between um, the seeds. So here, here, here. Yeah, because there are areas in between the seeds that are that has those lines, and we need to soften those to make it more realistic. And again, when we soften those, we create those gradients. So now we just lift the excess paint. Okay. And here we soften this area as well. So we just lift the excess paint. Yes, just to make it lighter. Okay, let me just turn it around to see. Okay, that looks fantastic. No, let's balance it further. Perfect. I'm very happy with how it looks now. The next thing to do is to use burnt umber and just paint the seeds. So let me just get some burnt umber. There we go. And this would be easier than the red circles or ovals surrounding the seeds because we are just going to directly dab it like so. And that should be fine. There we go. We are doing very well. So we're just dabbing some burnt umber on top of the dots that we have drawn previously, creating that image of seeds, strawberry seeds. Oh, that's fantastic. And as you can see, I've left some areas um, without seeds, and the reason is those areas are not yet dry. So I will come back to that later on. But for now, we will paint seeds on the areas which are already dry. So let me see. Yeah, I would have to stop there and paint the rest of the seeds later on. So now I am going to go back to the stem, the stalk right here, and then just paint it with water. And there we go. So it should be wet, but again, it should not be dripping. So I'm now going to paint the middle part with yellow ochre. Again, if you don't have yellow ochre, use lemon yellow or any kind of yellow for the middle. And now we're going to paint the sides green. Like so. And the other side. Okay. And now I'm going to use red for the outer side of the stalks. So let's do that. Let's paint this outer portion red. And again, if it bleeds into the green, that's okay. Just let it. We're going to lift excess paint later on. But what we want to do is actually to let them mix and create a sort of brownish color. Okay, I'm gonna rinse my brush and I'm now ready to lift the excess paint. Okay, and here. Just rinsing the brush. And now lifting the excess paint here in the middle. So, perfect. Then here, just painting this with some residual paint on my brush, which is actually very light because I rinsed the brush. And then here, I would like to paint some lines here with water only, like so. And now I'm going to make sure that my brush is really dry. And I am going to lift the paint in the areas where I dropped the water. Okay. And here, I'm going to do the same thing to this stalk. I'm just going to lift the excess paint here. Fantastic. So now, I'm just going to drop some black paint. Really just small drops for this one. Here on the sepals. And then I'm gonna make sure my brush is clean. Oh, if it spreads too much, just lift it like so. And here as well, I think this is too much. Or if the color is too intense, we can also lift it. Okay, fantastic. Now, let me just see if it's dry enough. I think this. Okay, I'm going to get some burnt umber. And I am going to paint some lines from those black spots going towards the strawberry. Okay, I think we need to lift some more paint from this one. And here. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And now I'm going to have a look at my strawberry. Unfortunately, it's not dry enough for me to put the rest of the seeds on it, to paint the rest of the seeds. So I'm just going to let it as it is for now. And then I'm just going to go back here to the stem and just paint a little bit of burnt umber to the side. Here we go. And again, I am going to lift some of the paint here and just soften it a bit. Okay. And then perhaps add a little bit of green layer. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so now I have this area ready. I do have to go back to my um, strawberry itself. So I'm now going to try and find the dry area. So these areas are now dry. I just need a little bit more burnt umber now. Okay, and then like so. There we go. And then I must start painting this area now. Oh, I think we're doing great for what we have because I think it's still a bit too wet. Okay. Again, for what we have, I think we're doing great. Okay, so now we just have to add a little bit more highlights, like for example, some lines here in yellow ochre. And that's only because of the reflection of light, so we will try to soften that later on. Actually, some of them are okay. They have spread quite nicely. realistic. I'm happy with that. And then now I'm going to create the shadow here at the bottom. Okay, I'm just going to get a little bit of black paint, dip my brush in water. Oh dear, okay. So let's just dip the brush in water and extend that here. Okay. Oops. And yes, you just saw that. Because I want you to see the shadow. And again, the light is coming from this area, so that means the shadow is somewhere here. Like so. And if you want to soften the shadow, we just paint this with the brush over here. Okay. And we can also lift it with our kitchen towel, really to make it a bit softer. And the last thing we have to do is just to darken this side of the strawberry. So here, I am just darkening this side slightly. Again, this is because of the direction of light. So if on top we have that lighter area, here at the bottom we have a darker area. Like so. So this is today's art piece for this session. It's a strawberry that we have created, applying what we have learned in the ingredient. So I have the other one here as well. So there we go. This is the dry version, and this is the fresh one. As you can see, there's still that thing over there. So when this one dries, it's going to look more like this one. So more realistic. But again, this is an impressionist piece. So if you look at it closer, it's not exactly going to look like a real life strawberry, but from afar, it would give that illusion. Well, I hope you enjoyed the session for today. And we have one more session on gradients, and I look forward to see you there. Bye-bye.